Hello to everyone. Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message for you all. First, in regards to a dream that I had recently, and then we're going to get off into some things, and for the chosen specifically. Now, by now, the chosen knows who we are. Okay, you should be able to identify yourself as a chosen seed, just as a negative karmic soul is able to identify who they are at this point as well. So there's no need to explain who the chosen is. But I will say that first I'll start off with this dream that I had recently. So I was in my home and I had a knock at my door. And apparently it was someone who said that they were a part of management, like in the leasing office of where I stay at. It was a woman. And she, when I opened up the door, she asked me who I was, and then she was like, "Oh, I think I have the wrong apartment." But she told me who she was. She said she was from the leasing office. And so she began to walk down the hallway. And just as I got ready to close the door, a man pushed through and bombarded his way into my place. From there, he proceeded to attempt to rape me. Now, I beat his ass. Okay. And then after all of this happened, a family member of mine came from my back room and was looking at me as if, I had done something wrong. Okay. Almost as if I had called this energy to myself, or as if I was, you know, doing something mischievous with this man. So either way, I ended up waking up. Okay. So I thought about this dream. And it didn't take me long to figure it out, because the last couple of days, this dream was actually a few nights ago. The last couple of days have been very chaotic, to say the least. Okay. Um, I'd say the last day and a half. It hasn't even been that long. It's been some chaotic energy that's been happening in my life specifically, and very triggering energies have been happening within my personal circle. And I found that these triggers actually reawakened some sides of me that I thought had been buried and gone. And of course, it was that side of myself of who I used to be that, I've been working diligently on releasing. But understand that the process of healing is not something that you just do and then it's done. Okay. It's something that you have to consistently work on a regular basis. And the more offloading you do, the more you get down to what's really beneath the surface. And you might find that, in spite of your efforts to really get in there and to pinpoint where those wounds are, and you've been very diligent in doing the work to heal, and to break these generational cycles and to really purge, or whatever the case may be, you'll find that there will be times in your life where you are sent a chaotic energy. It may come through a karmic family member, friend, lover, co-worker, stranger. Okay. But these karmics play a very vital role in the evolution and the development of the chosen seed. They themselves might believe that in that moment they are coming in to create a stumbling block for you. But the Most High, Mother and Father, and your spiritual team are well aware of the fact that they are the perfect trigger that's going to help you to dive deeper and to realize that thing that you was overlooking, not intentionally, but it hadn't been triggered, right? So I don't know if we're still in the energy of Mercury retrograde. I should have looked that up before I got on here. I'm still getting more, better versed when it comes to that aspect of spirituality. But I do feel that we might still be dealing with some residual energy if we're not still in it. And so you might find, for the chosen, that there are people that may come back in from your past who are operating as the host to be that trigger, to bring some chaotic energy that's going to cause a little bit of upheaval, but that upheaval allows you to get some things out. It allows you to clear that closet out. It allows you to get down to that wound that you didn't know was still there. And so we're in the year number 7. And in the year number 7, you all know this deals with spirituality. So deep diving into your spirituality, who you are as a spirit, having a human experience, what this path means for you, what you've been placed here to do, debunking the conditioning and the moral belief systems that was handed to you from your ancestors who might have been asleep, more than likely, and really just diving deeper to, gain answers, okay? Deep soul searching is what's happening in this year. And so because of this, the powers that were, they still, they don't stop their mission to overtake and to bring down the chosen. Matter of fact, they end up pushing even harder, because the fact of the matter is they're losing their position. And so their tactic at this time is to create triggers that will push you into a state of going where you feel like you're going backwards. And in that moment, it has the potential to create the energy of fear, guilt, shame. Okay, you can end up feeling guilty about your response to certain things, or guilty about allowing a certain person back into your life, or shame about a situation. And those are low vibrational energies in and of itself. And so the agenda of the powers that were is to lower your vibration collectively, to lower the vibration of the chosen. Because right now, because we've been putting in so much work, we have a lot of potential energy that's gaining momentum, that's picking up to where that potential energy can be directed towards something as Christ consciousness, as a body, as a group consciousness, to create something powerful. But what they're trying to do is come in and siphon your potential energy. And so this takes me back to the dream that I had initially, which was someone trying to come in to take my sexual energy by force. That's what happens in the spiritual realm. Physically, when you think about someone being raped, you think, okay, this person has an insatiable and a very unhealthy appetite for sex. But what's really happening, the spiritual nature of what's taking place, is that that person they're being hijacked. They are the perfect host to a very low vibrational demon or dark or negative or dark entity that has come into them, and that is using them as a physical vessel to take something from another person, so that they can then, with the something that they're taking is the sexual energy, they siphon that sexual energy, and that entity, that dark beast, takes it and feeds it to, or that dark entity takes that sexual energy from the person who committed the crime and feeds it to the Jezebel spirit, the beast of this system. This is the generator that keeps the system going. It is generated by the energy of lust, fear, shame, guilt, self-loathing, hatred, okay? Lack mentality. And so the dream pretty much showed me that there is a spiritual warfare against taking your sexual energy to use it towards something that would be beneficial to a very dark source. But the good thing about the dream is that I overpowered and I beat the ass of the person that was trying to steal it from me, which shows me that the chosen, we have the victory in this, okay? It's not set up for us to lose in this, okay? But the enemy, of course, doesn't realize that, because the enemy has selfish gains. It's all about power. It's all about control. And it's all about keeping you from realizing your own potential, your own power, and awakening your consciousness. And so it's too late for that, because the chosen have already done that. We're already there. But the question is, do you know what to do with that energy? And so because there's still a lot of chosen seed out there who are wavering with, well, what do I do with this understanding? What do I do with this wisdom that I now have? How do I direct this energy? What does it mean for my purpose? when you're still in that state of confusion, this is where the powers that were have a slight advantage to be able to use karmics in your life, sending them back into your life at very vulnerable times, okay? To kick up or to create upheaval with the hopes that they'll be able to then siphon your energy and take you all the way backwards in your healing process, okay? But obviously, again, this is not going to be successful. There's actually a reward on the other side of this test that's happening for you all right now. You're being tested. Your commitment to the process of breaking through that ribbon, getting to the finish line of this season of your life, this chapter of your life, is being tested. And so you will have, whether these karmics are aware of their position, whether they're aware of what they are being used to do in your life. Some of them are aware, some of them are not. Some of them are simply host to a darker source or a low vibrational source, largely because of their own addictions, their own codependencies, their own fears, self-loathing, guilt, shame. They become the perfect host. Whether they are intentionally being used as one or not is really not the fact, what needs to be focused on. But just know that not all of them are aware of their position when they come in, but there are many of them that are aware, okay? The sexual energy specifically is being targeted because of what I saw in my dream. So this is where now the chosen have to be very diligent in analyzing, using discernment, keeping your spiritual energy balanced, and making sure that you control what your sexual energy is being utilized for. You're being guided by your sexual team, Lord, by your angelic team, your spiritual team, okay? In terms of what you should be doing with this spiritual knowledge. Now, some of you might ask, well, what do you mean by controlling where the sexual energy goes? Well, if you find that you are currently involved with someone sexually, or if you find that you're not involved with someone sexually, but that you are maybe pleasuring yourself at times, you want to be very intentional about where that sexual energy goes, because nothing goes out into the universe void, okay? When you have an orgasm, that sexual energy it goes out into the universe. It's very powerful energy. It's creative energy. That's what that energy is. It is creative energy. And if you are not using it to create yourself, to create something for yourself, then you best believe there is an entity out there that's waiting and ready and willing and eager to snatch and to siphon that sexual energy, to use it to create something for themselves, which usually works against you. So I say this to say, if you are involved with anyone sexually, or if you are pleasuring yourself at times, you want to be sure that you set your intentions, that whatever happens, wherever your sexual energy goes, it is in alignment with your highest good. You are utilizing, you might set your intentions that I use my sexual energy to create, to be the co-creator of my life, to create healing in my life, to create empowerment, to create my purpose, to create my gifts. Make sure that you take possession and ownership of your creative energy. Do not just put it out there. And this is why you hear a lot about, for the men, like semen retention and things of that nature, where it's like, okay, you don't want to waste your seed. Well, that's the physical part of it, okay? You don't want to just waste your seed, because it can be draining, physically draining, and it can also take away from your ability to think, to have a sharper mind and to be creative. It can, cause issues with your memory and things of that nature if you're wasting your seed, just randomly just wasting it. But in the spiritual realm, if a male is wasting his seed, especially if he is sharing his sexual energy with a female who is in a very low vibrational energy, who has not done the work to heal, and even worse, if he's sharing it with someone who carries and embodies the Jezebel spirit, then when he ejaculates, his seed will be fed to that Jezebel spirit. It will be siphoned. His energy, his creative energy, his creative potential will be siphoned and used towards a beast that will ultimately work against him. And it will cause him to have setbacks in many different areas of his life. Now, same thing goes for a woman, except the woman is not wasting a seed, but she is wasting her creative energy. If she's laying down with a man who is carrying the Jezebel spirit, or who is in a very low vibrational karmic energy, then that person too would be the perfect host to take that woman's creative energy when she has that orgasm. They possess that energy, but then they don't get to keep it. It is siphoned and harnessed and taken by a low vibrational entity that is already hovering within that person because of the addictive behaviors that they possess, or the Jezebel spirit that they have yet to free themselves from. And so this is a very important time when it comes to the sexual energy. Not just your sexual energy, but just across the board, recognizing that there will be what is a spiritual attack to the enemy, but for you it is a spiritual advantage if you see the lesson in it and what it's showing you when this chaotic energy comes into your life. Okay, whatever that upheaval looks like for you, do you get the lesson? Do you see, okay, this is showing me that there's still something within me that I didn't know was still there? So do you sit in it? Do you become guilty? Do you become angry? Do you become ashamed of the fact that this is coming through? Or do you say, oh, well, this is the perfect opportunity. This is showing me what my next assignment is. This is showing me what I need to heal at this point. What do I need to free myself from at this point? What is standing in the way so that you can walk through that door that is opening for you? Because all of this work that you have put in, trust and believe the enemy does not have the authority to come in and take what you have worked hard to create. You've been breaking the generational curses. You've been healing yourself. You have been doing the work to become the best version of yourself. You have created that direct and divine connection to the Most High and your spiritual team. You have even put in work to help others to heal and to enlighten others. So no, you have a harvest that is plentiful. And this is the time to do a little bit more cleaning up. There's some residual energy that still lingers, and the powers that were want to use that energy because they recognize that right now you have a strong advantage because that potential energy is sitting there waiting for you to use it and to take off. And so this is the time where the pawns are being sent in. Like I said, whether they're aware of it consciously or not, they're being sent in. So this is where you're wanting to put your sword up. Use your discernment. You've gained much wisdom. You've been through a lot in your life. And through those lessons, it's giving you very keen, a very sharp ability to determine and to, get in there and figure out who has the right intentions and who doesn't. And it has opened up your throat chakra to where you now have a voice and you can set those healthy boundaries. You can speak up for yourself. You can make cuts where necessary. And this is going to be the test. You're being called to stay committed to the process, okay? Don't fumble this one. And you can't fumble it. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not meant for you to lose. This is not a test that you are meant to fail. This is the test that you are meant to pass. But understand that if you do not see the lesson in it, if you do not see it as an opportunity to do more work on yourself, to become better and to pull yourself up out of that energy and to heal the wound that is being shown to you through that person who is operating in that karmic energy, then it might be a test that you have to repeat. You know how when you in school, the goal is for you to pass, right? At least it should be. The goal is for you to pass the test. But if you fail the test, then you're going to have to retake it. And sometimes when you take it a second and third time, they throw some extra stumbling blocks up in there just to see, have you really been putting in the work to study so that you can pinpoint it and excel at it the second or third time around. But you don't want to have to take this test again. This is one of those tests where it's like it comes in one time, you pass the test, and then you move forward into the next season of your life. This is one of those tests that's very challenging, though. And it's very challenging because it's getting down to a wound that you buried so deeply. It was one of those wounds that hurt you so much that you buried it, you covered it in so many layers that you completely forgot that it was there. But this person comes in and they have to trigger you. That's their assignment. They have the assignment. They're being sent by the powers that were, but the Most High has the first and final say. So even the powers that were are being used as a tool to ensure that you do not miss your boat. So do some work on your root chakra, your heart chakra, your throat chakra, your third eye chakra. These things are very important. Trust the process, surrender, go with the flow. Do not resist any changes that happens. Matter of fact, give thanks and gratitude for all of the changes that you go through. Make sure you take you a salt bath, cleanse your energy. Make sure that you do some writing, burning, and releasing. Write down those things that could be standing in the way, whatever emotions, thoughts, if you're overthinking, whatever negative energy might come up, put it on paper, burn it. Call on the Most High and your spiritual team. Give thanks to them for helping you to clear that energy out of your life, okay? So many different things that you can do, so many spiritual tools that you can use in order to heal yourself. And many of you are already well aware of different things that you can do. And if you're not, if you just feel drawn or called to do something specific, even if you've never done it before, then just do it, because more than likely it's something that needs to be done to help you in your healing process. So just know that you do have angelic guidance around you. And so likely if you get that intuitive nudge to do something, it's because they are directing you and guiding you to do it, okay? Don't sit in your emotions. Do not drown in your emotions. Allow yourself to feel it. Purge it. Do not hold it in. Speak your truth to whoever you need to speak it to, however you need to speak it. And then go within, get silent, pull back emotionally, and start nurturing yourself back to health again, okay? You possess the ability and the power and the authority to do it. And so this is the time where you want to make sure that you are balancing your spiritual nature with the practical things that's happening around you, okay? Solitude may be necessary at this time during this, going within, doing that emotional withdrawal, meditating, praying, getting back connected to nature, whatever it is you need to do, because there's some beautiful things that is coming to the chosen. It's fulfillment of wishes, things that you've been praying for, things that you've been asking for. Those doors are getting ready to open. And this is just that one little test that it's a pretty big test, actually. Some of you have already gone through it. Some of you are currently going through it, and some of you will be going through it in the future. But just know that if you've seen this message, you know what to do. And so I hope that this brought you some clarity. This is going to be very transformative for you. Go with the flow. Listen to those spiritual uploads that's coming through. Do the work. Address the wound. Do not suppress your emotions. Feel your feelings. Pass this test and get ready for the harvest that you have been planting all of these seeds towards, because it's going to be a great, great harvest. Okay. So I love you all. I hope this message brought some clarity to you. Also just make sure that you recognize, be proud of yourself, even if this brings up an energy that it's like, this doesn't even feel good. Why am I still seated in this energy? Where is this coming from? Even if it brings up that type of energy, remember the work that you have put in. Don't allow this test to come in to throw you all the way backwards to where you start to feel like, well, maybe I'm not so healed after all. Maybe I'm not so, great or chosen after all. No, you most certainly are. But you have to make sure that you get down to the core of those wounds so that no one in the future will be able to come in and trigger those wounds. Especially once you have your breakthrough and you have your abundance, you don't want to be triggered during that time in your life with something this deep. This is something that needs to be taken care of before you walk through that door. And so it's not a punishment. It's not to cause you to have a setback. What it is it's like that boomerang effect. What do you call those things? A slingshot, right? You have the slingshot. And when you put that rock in there, whatever you put into the slingshot, you got to draw it all the way back. And the further back that you draw it, the more potential energy it has. So when you get ready to release it, that thing moves fast. But of course, if you only pull it back a little bit, then it's like, okay, that thing ain't gonna go but so far. And so sometimes I feel like this is that test where you got to be pulled all the way back. You got to pull back all of those layers, get deep, deep, deep down into this thing, do some deep, deep reflecting at this time. And so this is why these types of challenges comes in this season in your life, to get you to dive deeper and to go all the way back. Might take you back to childhood. Some of y'all, it might even take you back to past lives. Some of you, it might take you 10 years back, 2 years back. Whatever the wound is, you want to be able to go back. So you're not going backwards in terms of your progress. You're being pulled back to take a look, to evaluate, to do some nurturing and some healing from that standpoint, from that vantage point. And then once you're released, you're going to take off so fast, your head is going to spin. So just know that things are going to pick up really, really fast after you pass this test. So there's great things to look forward to. Continue to stay in a space of gratitude. Go with the flow. Do not resist the process of change. I love you all. If you want a private reading from me, email me. And if you want to order my hair or body oils, don't forget about those. Y'all can always email me for that as well. And please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notifications bell so that you can get messages in the upcoming future. And I will talk to you all